Winning $1 million sounds like a dream come true. But here's the harsh reality. Most people who suddenly come into that kind of money lose it all within a year. If you're watching this, you might be wondering whether you'd be one of them. So if you want to understand the warning signs that you'd blow through $1 million in 12 months, stick around. And if you find this eye-opening, please subscribe to the channel for more real talk about money and success. The first sign you lose it all is that you can't say no to yourself. When you suddenly have access to unlimited funds, every impulse becomes a purchase waiting to happen. You walk past a luxury car showroom, and instead of just window shopping, you're signing papers for a $200,000 sports car. You see a designer outfit, and you buy 5 versions of it in different colors. There's no internal voice telling you to wait or think it through, because you've never had to develop that discipline. Your brain hasn't learned the word no, and $1 million gives you the financial ability to indulge that weakness immediately. The second sign is that you surround yourself with people who enable your worst habits. When word gets out that you've come into money, suddenly everyone wants to be your friend. Your old friend from high school who you haven't talked to in 10 years calls you up wanting to grab drinks. Your cousin, who always seemed a bit sketchy, suddenly thinks you two should start a business together. These people aren't interested in your long-term success, they're interested in what they can get from you. And because you're feeling generous and excited about your windfall, you say yes to everything. You pick up the check at expensive restaurants. You fund business ideas that go nowhere. You give loans to people who never pay you back. Before you know it, you've spent $50,000 just making other people happy. The third sign is that you have zero investment knowledge, but tons of overconfidence. You win $1 million, and suddenly you think you're a financial genius. You start scrolling through cryptocurrency forums at 2 in the morning, convinced that some coin with a funny name is going to turn your million into 10 million. You see someone else's success story online, and you dump 200 grand into the same investment without doing any real research. You think diversification is a boring concept that only applies to boring people. This confidence, combined with your complete lack of knowledge, becomes a financial time bomb. You're making major money decisions based on what you read in a Reddit thread or saw in a TikTok video. The fourth sign is that you immediately upgrade your entire lifestyle. You move into a luxury apartment with a $5,000 monthly rent. You start shopping exclusively at high-end designer boutiques, where a single shirt costs $300. You eat at Michelin-starred restaurants multiple times a week. You get memberships to exclusive clubs. The problem is that lifestyle inflation is incredibly powerful. Once you've tasted that luxury lifestyle, going back to a normal existence feels impossible. So you keep spending at that level, not realizing that your $1 million is getting decimated by these recurring monthly expenses. Within a year, your housing, food, and entertainment alone could easily consume $600,000 or more. The fifth sign is that you lack patience and want results immediately. You see a first-class flight to Bora Bora and you book it without thinking. You want a luxury yacht, so you don't research or wait for a good deal. You just buy one. You want a diamond watch, so you go to the jewelry store today and walk out with a $50,000 timepiece. There's no waiting, no planning, no strategy. Everything is about instant gratification. This impatience extends to your investments too. You expect to see massive returns immediately, and when you don't, you panic and make poor decisions. A patient investor might let money sit and compound over time, but you're not patient. You need results now, and that urgency drives you to make reckless choices. The sixth sign is that you've never experienced real financial consequences before. Maybe you grew up without much money, or maybe you had a comfortable middle-class life. Either way, you've never had to face the harsh reality of watching your money disappear and having to deal with the fallout. You don't understand what it feels like to make a financial mistake and have to live with that mistake for years. So when you win $1 million, there's no internal alarm system warning you about the danger. You treat money casually because you've never had to treat it seriously. You spend like someone who knows they can always make more, which is the exact opposite of how a successful money manager thinks. The seventh and final sign is that you don't have any real goals or vision for your life. If you had a clear purpose, winning $1 million would be a tool to achieve that purpose. But if you're just trying to have fun and impress people, that $1 million becomes fuel for consumption. You're not building anything. You're not creating anything. You're just spending on temporary pleasures that feel amazing in the moment, but leave you feeling empty 6 months later. Without a larger vision for your life, $1 million is just a really expensive way to discover that money doesn't solve your problems. So here's what this all means. If you recognize yourself in most of these signs, you need to hear this. A sudden windfall doesn't fix your relationship with money. It actually reveals it. The habits and mindsets you have right now would destroy $1 million, $50 million, or even $1 billion. The good news is that you can change. You can develop the discipline to say no. You can learn about investing and build real knowledge. You can resist the urge to upgrade your lifestyle immediately. But that requires work. It requires you to be honest with yourself about your weaknesses. If you're serious about this, please like this video to show me you found this valuable. And let me know in the comments. Which of these 7 signs do you think would be your biggest challenge if you suddenly came into $1 million? I genuinely want to hear your thoughts, because this conversation matters. And if you found this perspective helpful, please subscribe to the channel. We dive deep into the psychology of money and what actually separates people who build wealth from those who destroy it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.